You hear her before you see her. A scream cut short, like a hand just clamped over her mouth. You turn the corner and there she is, fighting a man twice her size as he drags her toward a van idling at the curb. The street is empty. No cameras. No witnesses. Just you, frozen at the edge of the sidewalk with maybe 3 seconds before this decision makes itself. Scream, run, or memorize his face and pray you never see it again. But here's what you don't know yet. The second you choose, you're not just deciding her fate. You're deciding your family's. You don't scream. You don't run. Your hand moves on its own, phone halfway out of your pocket as you duck behind a parked car. Your voice drops to a whisper as you give the dispatcher the cross street, the van's color, anything you can grab onto before it disappears for good. The doors slam, the engine revs, and just before the van pulls away, the streetlight catches something you weren't supposed to see. His face, clear as anything, burned into your memory in half a second. Your stomach drops because you know that face. Not from a wanted poster. Not from the news. You know it from your own family's kitchen table. Your sister's husband of 8 months. The guy everyone calls one of the good ones. The one who fixed your dad's car for free last spring. And now you're the only person on the planet who knows what he just did. Do you hang up before the dispatcher gets his description? Or do you finish the call and watch your family's whole world tip over? You finish the call. Every word feels like it weighs 10 pounds on the way out. The dispatcher thanks you, tells you someone will follow up, and the line goes dead, and so does the version of your life where you didn't know any of this. You think the hardest part is already behind you, that the worst decision got made in those 3 seconds on the corner. But 2 days from now, when there's a knock at your door, you're going to learn exactly how wrong that is. The knock comes on a Tuesday morning, and it isn't your sister. 2 detectives stand on your porch, badges out, asking if you were in the area the night a woman went missing 2 blocks from your building. Your mouth goes dry. They don't say his name. They don't have to. You can see it clipped to the folder under the older detective's arm. A person of interest photo staring back at you like it already knows what you're about to do. You have a choice in front of you that feels smaller than it actually is. Tell the truth, or say the 4 words that come out before you can stop them. I don't remember much. You watch the detective's pen pause mid-sentence, like he's heard this exact lie 100 times from people protecting someone they love. He leaves his card. He tells you to call if you remember anything else. And the second that door closes, you realize you've already made the decision. For you, not for her. That night, you can't sleep. You keep replaying the streetlight, his face, the van door slamming shut on a woman whose name you still don't know. Outside, her photo is already stapled to telephone poles up and down your block. Her family's number printed underneath in shaking, hopeful letters. Silence feels safe right now. But silence doesn't actually protect anyone. It just delays who gets hurt. And you're about to find out exactly how true that is the moment you learn why he really took her. It starts as a rumor at your mother's birthday dinner. Something about your dad's restaurant falling behind on payments, about an old loan that was never really a loan at all. You corner your sister later, quietly, and her answer makes your blood run cold. Her husband didn't marry into your family by accident. He was sent to keep an eye on a debt your father has owed for years to people who don't send polite reminder letters. And the woman who vanished wasn't a stranger to him at all. She was an accountant, quietly digging through records that tied your father's restaurant to something much bigger. A laundering operation running through small businesses all over the city. Which means if she surfaces, if she's found, if she ever gets to talk, it doesn't just end your brother-in-law. It takes your father down with him, and maybe the whole business that's fed your family for 20 years. Your father asks you about it directly one night, refilling his coffee like it's nothing. You haven't heard anything weird going around, have you? You almost choke on the answer sitting in your throat. You tell him no. He nods, satisfied, like the conversation never happened. But you catch the flicker in his eyes, the same flicker you saw in the detective's notepad, the same practiced calm your brother-in-law used in the streetlight. Your whole family, you realize, has been fluent in this kind of silence for a lot longer than you have. So now the math in your head isn't about a stranger anymore. It's about whether saving her life means watching everyone you love go down with her. Your father, your sister, the only version of your family you've ever known. You think you finally understand the size of the decision sitting on your shoulders. But you haven't even met the person whose life is actually in your hands yet, and what you learn about her next is going to make walking away a lot harder than you think. 3 days later, you see her son on the news. He's maybe 7 years old, holding his grandmother's hand at a press conference, asking, in a small, cracked voice, for whoever has his mom to please just let her come home. You weren't ready for that. You'd let yourself believe she was just a name on a flyer, a problem belonging to someone else's life. But now she has a face. Kid. A bedtime story that isn't getting finished tonight because of a decision you made on a street corner. You scroll through the comments under the news story that night. Strangers online demanding answers, sharing theories, tagging local police asking why there are no leads. One comment stops you cold. Someone out there knows something and is choosing to stay quiet. You close the app, but the sentence stays open in your mind for the rest of the night, refusing to disappear no matter how many times you tell yourself it isn't about you. That night, you do something you swore you wouldn't. You drive past your sister's house and sit outside for almost 20 minutes, watching her porch light, trying to picture her face the moment she learns what her husband really is, what he's capable of, what he might do to keep all of it buried. You're not just protecting your father anymore. You're protecting her too, from a truth you can't take back once it's out. You almost convince yourself that staying quiet is mercy, that maybe silence is the kindest version of this decision. But mercy doesn't usually come with a deadline, and yours is about to show up a lot sooner than you think. Standing in your own parking lot, waiting for you to come home. He's already there when you pull in, not yelling, not threatening, which is almost the scariest part. Just calm, hands in his pockets, like he's about to talk about the weather. He tells you he knows the detectives came by. He tells you he knows you didn't say anything. And then he says the sentence that's going to sit in your chest for the rest of your life. I need you to keep it that way. For your sister. For your dad. For everyone. Standing there, you realize this was never really a choice between a stranger and your family. It was always a test of how far your family is willing to go to protect itself, and how far you're willing to go to let them. He doesn't threaten you outright. He doesn't have to. The threat is the silence itself, baked into every, we take care of our own. You've heard at every family dinner for as long as you can remember. You walk inside, lock the door, and sit in the dark longer than you've sat with anything in your life. Because now you know exactly what staying silent costs. The only question left is whether you can actually live with the price of speaking up, and that answer is about to get a lot more complicated than you expected. 2 days after the warning, you find a second card in your mailbox. No note, no name, just a phone number and one line underneath. Anytime. You sit with your phone in your hand longer than you've sat with anything before. You think about the boy at the podium. You think about your sister's porch light. You think about your father's restaurant, the one that's fed your family for 20 years, funded in part by money you never wanted to know about. There's no version of this where everyone you love stays safe. There's only a version where you decide who you can live with hurting, and who you absolutely cannot. You think about the woman, wherever she is right now, still waiting for someone to choose her over the silence everyone around her has agreed to keep. You think about her son, the same age as the kids in your own family, asking the world for the one thing none of you have given him. So you make the call. Not because it's easy, not because you're even sure it's right, but because somewhere between the streetlight, the press conference, and the parking lot warning, you finally understood that silence was never protecting anyone. It was just letting someone else decide who gets hurt instead of you. The line rings once, twice, and on the third ring somebody picks up. Detective Ramirez. The voice on the other end says, calm, professional, used to hearing voices shake right before they say the next sentence. You open your mouth. You almost hang up. But then you think about the boy's voice from the press conference, asking the world to bring his mom home. And the words come out before you can stop them. I think I know who took her. There's a pause on the line. Then, okay, tell me everything you remember. What happens after that call? Whether your sister ever speaks to you again, whether your father's name ends up in headlines, whether that woman makes it home to her son. None of that is in your hands anymore. All you ever controlled was the 3 seconds it took to decide. And you already used yours. So if you were standing on that street corner, in those 3 seconds, with everyone you love on the other side of the decision, what would you have done?